Hi, Debbie and Margie here from SimplySpecialCrafts. We want to welcome you to our continuation of our 2020 Craftaganza series, and today we'll be talking about festive memories from Craftaganza. This will be a two-part video, and this is part one. This is about as classic as they come. Here is Santa Claus is coming to town. We've got Santa Claus with his reindeer in 3 different scenes, some nice little toppers here, a nice border strip. This is really cute. They've done sleigh bells down both sides of this piece of cardstock. And this one's also really fun. Look at that big, beautiful image. This is the foiled cardstock, so we feature foiling along that side. Let's see what we did with it. What is this called? The stepper?
This is called the Victorian stepper. Okay. I think there's one other word in it, but it is definitely a Victorian stepper.
This is the Victorian stepper card. It is a new card featured by Tattered Lace. I used the outside of that to cut out the base of my card, and it features just really remarkable, very, very pretty foiling, or not foiling, but lacy cutouts on the dies. It gives you these 2 dies up the side and across the top, and it was just a really good complement to this classic Christmas scene, I thought. It even gives you a stand for the back of the card so you can stand it up.
It is beautiful.
It's
love
really,
this
really
die set.
pretty. Really pretty. Next up.
And Debbie, really quick, so did you use the backing of any of these, or did you use something different?
That's a good question, Margie. I actually just used a piece of Adorable Scorable, since I knew I was going to be doing all this amazing foiling work on it with mirror board and the die. I just only had the blue cardstock and then the gold Adorable Scorable, or excuse me, the gold Mary, because I just didn't think it needed more than that. Brought in my little topper off the sheet, a little circle, and then the 3-piece die set where I did what I usually do. Popped this up on foam squares in the center, glued the center ring down flush, put these up on some foam squares, and I did put a little tasteful glitter in my scene too. Just kind of snowed in some of the accents with my quickie glue pen and my glitter.
You know, something that I've appreciated with the Christmas pack is having that Adorable Scorable to do these things with, and it makes it really, it lets you kind of stretch your cards out a little bit too.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of options, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, we're back. Had to take a little Teddy break there and take Teddy's pop bottle away from him. This is a little European A6 card, which is basically 4 1/8 inch by 5 7/8 inch. And I used a piece of that border strip. I covered my card with gold mirror board, cut my image slightly smaller, put on my border and a little tag, and I just didn't think it needed anymore. There's a lot happening in these Santa scenes, so sometimes I think keeping a more involved image pretty simple is a good strategy.
Agreed.
Here's another one that's just done in a very similar style. I took my European A6 card, I covered it with gold mirror board, cut my topper or my backing sheet down just a bit, put my image up on some foam squares. This is the iridescent woven ribbon. This one is in the blue with antique gold color. Just tied myself a little single bow in the whiter ribbon, and I liked it just like that.
So pretty. And in this set, we have inserts.
Oh, we did actually put inserts in.
Yeah, we were able to do that.
Yes, no complaining about inserts. They finally gave me inserts, guys. I've graduated. Okay, this one, I made a little easel card out of. So I've taken, he found another pop bottle. I've taken an easel card, a 5x7 card. I folded one flap of the card into the fold line, and then I took my I took that Jingle Bells paper and I cut both borders off, each 2.5 inches wide, and built my topper set, leaving an opening at the top so that it folds easily. I took my 3-piece topper set, I built it up on a piece of cardstock here in the back, so I just traced around my largest topper, built it, cut it out, and then built my topper set on that so these rings wouldn't be all floppy up here. Put the center on foam squares, put the outer ring on foam squares, glued this one down flush, and then I added a couple off of the Sticker King sticker sheet. I'm not sure how well you can see them on camera, but I added a couple little teddy bear outlines because the teddy bear just seemed to match the Santa and his sleigh theme. On the inside, I took a piece of my cardstock, I built it up on some foam squares to be my stopper, and then I took some of the Sticker King flourishes, and look how fancy that looks.
Yeah.
Just to add 3 of those little flourishes across that stopper. Put a little image here just for something else to be seen from the front of the card, and I think that's just as cute as it can be.
And this set has 2 really huge toppers, so trying to get inventive of ways that you can make that work. Great job.
Exactly. Thank you. And we ended up, even though there were 2 really large toppers and not as many small ones, we still got 4 cards out of this set.
Amazing. Okay, so it's official. I now am having to wear bifocal reader glasses, so this is great. I can actually see. It's called Scent with Good Cheer, and it has the English red postal famous looking post boxes and a little bird who has decided that he is going to mail a letter.
It's cute. That's really an iconic image in
It
these
is.
Hunkydory Christmas kits.
Yeah.
There's always the post box.
Yeah. And isn't there a saying that says a little birdie told me?
Yes,
So
there is.
I just thought that that was a really cute way to go. And this is our regular cardstock adorable scoreable. It is not the foiled. The foiled is right behind this one. But you've got 2 really great border sections to work with. And I'll show you what I did with that here in just a second. And here is our foil piece. Again, with our full post office box, the little bird, and some really pretty holly work. It almost looks like poinsettias,
It
but
does.
if you look close, it's holly.
Okay.
So we'll just start with that one first.
Okay.
So
That's
this
pretty.
is a 5x7, and it's on Black Mary on the back, on the very first layer. Second layer, I just cut straight from this really beautiful picture piece, and it just needed a pretty little bow, pretty little saying, and it was really nice.
That black mirror on that really set that card off. That was a great choice.
It
And I
did.
love the way that you have glittered your holly. It's actually a fairly thick coat of snow over that mailbox, so a little heavier snow on your card is really appropriate.
Yeah, I actually did this with glue in a glue bottle instead of with the quickie pen. And in fact, up in here, I went ahead and I not only put the glue on and then I glittered it, I let it dry, and then I put on another layer. So it actually has a really interesting texture to these really thick pieces of snow. And I did that throughout, well, I can't say all of them, but a good portion of them. This is using our black cardstock.
That's beautiful.
And it is a 5x7. I used our Sticker Kings with stars all the way around to make a border, and then we have our little holly pieces as well that came from Sticker King.
Were those Sticker King or Find It Trading? Were they off the...
Ooh.
I wondered if they were the Christmas corners from Find It Trading.
It might.
But they might have been off Sticker
I
King.
apologize.
I'll look and link it, guys.
This is our Poinsettia Ribbon. You might recognize it from our Barbie doll sparkle ones. I can't say Barbie doll technically. So the little fashion icon dolls that were in our sparkle set.
Fondly referred to as Headless Barbie.
And it says, "We post our letter of good cheer now that Christmas draws so near." And then it's just simple black pretty in
This
there.
would be, you'd either need to line this card or you could use gel pens on the inside.
Yeah.
Gel pens would be beautiful
That
in
would be
here
a
on
lot
the
of
black
fun.
card.
And then, yes, if I remembered that we actually got to use inserts, you would see inserts in my cards, but I kind of forgot.
That's okay.
This is a 6x6, and there's a surprise inside. So let's take a peek here at the front. I cut off just a section of the bottom section of border down here, and I just used this section just like you see it here. This is the inside of one of the toppers. It did not come with the extra rings like you usually see with the toppers, so I really wanted to build it out by bringing it with some extra. They have some unique shaped tags in this set.
This is really nice with the circle and the square though, and then the matching foliage. That looks beautiful together.
It's really pretty. And here is our surprise. So this is called a pocket card, and it is black. And what I've done is that I went through and I put raspberry, it's
Luster polish.
and it's the luster polish I apologize. It is called raspberry is the color, and the luster polish is by Cosmic Shimmer.
Mm-hmm.
And then I took one of my little round, just to put something there. You could actually do a whole bunch of different or extra things with this little piece. And from there, I used the corner only of this section. I apologize, Bryce. There we go. I took just the corner piece. I cut it. I measured it down from here to here and here to here to see how much I needed to cover, and I just literally cut it across like this. And then you can kind of just tuck it in away in this back pocket. What I did before I tucked it away and glued it, I literally just snipped right here because the cut came right through here. So I was able to snip it out. And the reason why I did that is to hold these shut. And my idea is that number one, it's really cute to do it that way because you've got all of these neat pockets, and I used some of my border off my topper sheet. But there's a second little pocket back there behind the little bird, but you can hide some really neat things in here, like, I don't know, family Christmas picture.
Sure. This would also be a great gift card holder. And one of
Yeah.
our customers, I think it was Kim, asked recently, will you show us how to do a gift card holder? Well, here's one that is, the card base itself is pre-made to be a gift card holder.
Absolutely.
So that is one use for these. Another thing people are doing with this shape of a card is doing wedding invitations and putting the RSVP notice and the details of the ceremony into the little pockets. So that's another thing that you can do with it. But what a fun, versatile card. You can just do all kinds of things. Birthday invitations, you know, RSVP cards, like I said, gift cards, a cash holder. There's just a lot you can do with that.
Your nice little handwritten letter, tuck that in there. Wouldn't that be beautiful?
It'd be
Because so
gorgeous.
many people don't handwrite their letters anymore.
Yeah,
so
they do those Christmas
it would be
letters.
very
It'd be
loving.
great to just
Yeah,
quarter fold it and stick it right in the pocket and still send a card.
absolutely. So this is our other very large topper piece.
That's huge. But that isn't that pretty together?
So I was able to make it with a DL card. It just literally is this beautiful foiled topper right on top of our woven black paper downstairs.
Okay.
Some of you used it for some masculine cards this summer.
We did it in the twist and pop cards.
Yeah, that's correct. And then I just took little snowflake brads, and if you have an insert, which I did not, or I didn't think about it, the insert, if you put one on this side and cut and put another one on this side, just put your piece of finger lift tape on both sides here. That's it. Don't put it anywhere else, and it will hide those little brads so you don't see them. And then I just used one of our little gold Merry Christmases.
That's really, really pretty. This has been one of our most popular card kits of the season, and with good reason. We did do a class on this one, and the cards just turned out wonderfully, and we got really good feedback on that. But a lot of people have purchased extra ones of this Peace on Earth kit because it's just beautiful. Look at the gorgeous dove with the piece with the olive branch in his talons, and we have these two large toppers here, and then just a number of sentiments. There's actually 4 different sentiments plus this little dove, 5 sentiments, I guess. And then a pretty lacy border. Here's the dove himself, and then these pretty lacy corners. Here's that Christmas village that just, I think it's just remarkable. I looked at that and said, that has to be a shaker card. And so I made it into a shaker card. I had taken the outside border off of this die cut when I made it because I didn't want it to be quite that large, and so I used that die cut and I built my frame for my shaker, and then I put my whole shaker packet right down over this image and used that single dove to be flying over my village again. This is on a, where's our ruler? I think it's a 5.5 or 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, but I'm not certain. Yes, this is a 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 card base, thank you. I've covered it in gold Mary board, then I've cut down this image to be slightly smaller, and like I said, I built my shaker packet up on there, and it's just beautiful with all the snow in it. So that's one. Next, I used this piece of the border. I covered my card. I did cut that down just a little bit, and I used the other large 3-piece topper on here. Again, put these on foam squares, glued that one down flush, put this one up on foam squares, added my greeting, and then I did do lots of nice, beautiful glittering on this one with a quickie glue pen to just get those really subtle highlights. And I think that's really pretty. This card comes from this corner, and it's a fairly simple card. I'm just using that cutoff on the corner. I did cover my European A6 with gold mirror board, cut this slightly smaller, and I had this sentiment tag left, this one right here, and it just didn't look like quite enough. It just needed something. So I used one of our acetate snowflakes, and I laid my topper over the top of that and then added some rhinestones to kind of jazz it up a bit. Put 3 more rhinestones over here and glittered my bird, and now I think it looks very fancy and pretty.
It looks rich as well. It just has a lot of sparkle to it.
And finally, this card has been exceedingly popular. Yes, this has definitely got some sparkle to it. This is our inverse easel card. We're using the card blank by Craftstyle, and we have that large dove in the center. I've used that beautiful lacy border here across. It really looks like lace, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Covered my card base with this blue glitter paper. Here I've just taken a piece of gold Mary, and I've put just a 1/2 inch border of that blue together with that just to give myself a prettier stopper. On the inside, I used one of our Christmas verses by Craftstyle, and they just don't get any prettier than that. I got 4 cards from this set.
Okay. This is called Oh Holy Night, and it is a little boy's caroling. or excuse me, little boys lighting the candles throughout a church scene. I love the colors that they've added to this. It's a really, really beautiful piece. And you could go dark, but you know, I like to bring out a lot of those lights and try and bounce off the colors. So we'll take a look and see what we did. This is our music piece with one of the little boys lighting candles by the window. And then this is our foil cardstock, and it just reminds me of a book cover binder almost.
It's very rich.
Just looks gorgeous. So those are our papers. And then let's go ahead and start. This is, and I know I measured it before, but I'm not sure that I remember. It is a 4x6. And basically what I did was I added our topper, and I put both pieces down at the same level. I brought it in, it is on foam squares, all of it, to try and raise it up and give it a little bit of dimension. And then I was able to put on my little greeting here in the corner. And then I cut the 4x6 just up and around and then rounded it out on the back side of the card. And make sure that if you do a trick like this, if you have it up on foam squares, you have to glue this section and then you put foam squares onto your card to give it that little bit of spring. Otherwise, you'll have a bent section trying to flatten out the card with glue. Or a foam square up here and then you'll really see it.
The other thing you want to watch when you're doing this is you should check the size of your envelope in advance to make sure that you're going to have enough clearance for that tag. Now this one overlaps by just about 1/4 inch, and there's usually that much leeway, but always check your envelopes before you overlap the side a little bit, or make sure you have a slightly larger envelope as necessary.
Good trick. This is our sage and brown ribbon down there at the bottom. It's just a little tiny cute ribbon down there. Our second one out of this group, I went and I took, nope, not that one, this one. This is a 5x7, and I went through and I took some of our adorable scoreable and put it here in the background. And then I put a section of this border, I cut it in half.
Okay.
And I put one at the bottom and one at the top.
Beautiful.
And I just glued it on. You can't really tell that it's not all one piece of what it was supposed to be. That it doesn't look like this, of course, because of the adorable scoreable, but you really do think that it goes right in because they did such a great job of blending the colors that they offered in that Christmas pack.
That's beautiful.
From there, we had some music sheets that came out of our Platinum Flight of the Butterflies kit, and this happens to be the one that looks most like typical music paper instead of the pink or purple, but those are beautiful too. But I wanted to stick with the old version. And I really wanted to make it seem and appear that it's a little bit older, but I wanted to stick with the same color. So I just used a little bit of ink and rubbed it along all of the edges. And, oh, and I tore it everywhere that I did before I ran my ink. And then put just a nice simple little topper on there and the blue with orange ribbon. And in order to get some of those ripples and curves, you can put your Best Glue Ever in different spots in order to give it that lift and pull. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it comes and makes it more three-dimensional, and it also keeps this from falling down into the front of your card.
Pretty.
I don't know why it is 4.5 by 6.5. I believe that I took
That is going to be the American A6 by Craft Perfect.
Thank you.
Yes, Tonic Studios. That's the way they measure their American A6. Here they would be 5 by 6.5, but they're a little odd in their shape.
Gotcha. Thank you for the
You're
help,
welcome.
because I wasn't sure what I had grabbed out of our wonderful stack of different shape cards that we've got.
That's beautiful, the way you've done the flourishes to create that border, Margie.
So thank you.
Beautiful.
I took this section right here, just cut it right on out. Remember, I had used this bottom section for the other card. But I then took my next topper, again, glue here, foam squares here, because I put on my foam squares underneath my topper piece. And then I used the flourishes off of Sticker King, and it looks like it is already on there, like it was created that way.
Yeah. So you use two of the large, or one of the large flourishes, or maybe two, and clipped it, it looks like. And then one of those corners off that sheet. And when they're chained together like that, they look just like natural foiling. It's beautiful.
And then 1.5 here, down here at the bottom. In fact, I believe that I trimmed this one and it just fit barely here.
Perfect.
So it worked out really great. Here I took, you know, because you've got to do a little bit of everything, right? You can't waste one single scrap, or at least that's my opinion of it anyways. I'm going to get the most bang for my buck. Okay, so on this one, I just took a little piece of that music paper again. Used a little bit of my extra border that I still had, trimmed that down so that it would fit. But this is such a tiny little topper. But
So
doesn't
cute.
it make a really great little gift card idea for
very cute.
even just sitting on a present instead of your typical card? This down here is our memory box die, and I want to actually take a little bit of time because I did it on 3 of the cards. So I'm only going to cover it once though with what I did. So in this one, it gives you the opportunity to have a centerpiece or no centerpiece in the middle. And I really liked how the music, because there were no notes there, it actually almost just looked like cream colored candles. And I went ahead and put back in the gold piece. Down here is also empty sections, and so I took our alcohol marker and just ran it in between, and then I used our little Dazzle stickers for the berries.
The original Dazzles?
Yep.
That's really cute. Super cute.
In this one, you'll see the same thing. We just did it with something different. I took in this one, I went through and just used a cream colored paper to give the outside appearance. And then I took the bottom section of the Jewel Dazzle card and I ran that through the die cutting machine. And because it's a sticker, I just ran it right over the tops of my centers and glued them in. And it made it so simple and so easy. And then I took our little Nuvo drops that are in orange and yellow and gave them a little bit of texture there.
I love that, how you can use the throwaway pieces on your sticker. She's talking about that outside border, guys, and she ran that as candles. That's clever and fun.
And this is one of our stickers that's in gold. I just put it onto paper, fussy cut it out, and then filled it with alcohol marker and Nuvo drops.
Cute.
We've got a Noel from our Dazzle stickers that I put here. And then I went through and I took some of our shaped tag shapes that have multiple sizes. And I went through and I literally cut this section of window way up here.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, and so it's way up here where you'd never notice it, but I really wanted to have it be seen almost like candles with ribbons by the window.
Cute.
And you would never know that that was where it came from. And then the little boy came from here.
So you're using two sizes here and 2 sizes here of the nesting dice.
Yes, and
Clever.
so then I ran. Literally, they became 4 different die runs, but it was really quick and easy. And this is just put on mirror.
Okay.
It's on a 5x7, and what I did was the trick that I believe that we showed you in one of the other videos that we have, I took some adorable scoreable, folded it in half, made it a 5x7. You open it up and then you fold one way here and one way here. And I just put in the piece of music right here. So then that way it still shows that little bit of red, but it looks like it just fits right in there. And then what you do is you literally can take your card and go like this and hook over your border piece by running it with your scoreboard. And so now you've got this really pretty piece that can sit there and look in a totally different way, and you can surprise somebody because they might just think it's a card that looks like this.
That's fun.
And last one is you take a 4x6 in half, and you cut it down to a 6x6. If you look at it from the back, it's just a 4x6.
Other way around, 6x6, and you cut it to a 4x6, right?
No, I used a 6x6 card, a 4x6 card.
Okay.
It turns out for an envelope shape to be a 6x6.
Got it.
So you have to measure on here in order to make it fit in that 6x6. But if you move it down, it's not quite. It's not quite where it should be.
Sorry to jump in there.
Not a problem. Thank you. Thank you for double checking. Music paper again. I took one of the borders off of the front here because I used this one in another section of the set to try and get as much as I could out of it. And then just the simple little pretty little one with the candles and the books, the hymnals, and Noel on the front. And again, those same dies, and this is what it looks like if you just use cream.
This candle
and those Nouveau drops.
And this background paper just set that card off. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I love the way you raised the arch in the center. Really nice.
I just foam squared that in, and I used some of my extra of this to give it the back, to give it the strength so that it didn't flop or move around.
It's gorgeous. I love it.
I believe that there are 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Perfect. There's 6 there?
6.
6 out of that one.
Well, you know, the little miniature one counts.
Oh, that counts. This is a fun topper set. It's called A Warm Welcome. And we've got that bright red door with the wreath, and then the ducks out in the courtyard. It's really, really cute. This is a really unusual wreath because they have these 4 big Christmas balls on it. It's just a really unusual style, and it presented some design challenges between that and the kind of mustard-colored background. But I think our cards turned out really pretty. I'll show you what we did. There's the geese in the courtyard again. Love the geese. Geese are precious. And here's that bright color again with their pretty wreath. Let's see what we did with these. You did a great job
of using that color.
Thank you. Here's my first card. This is a 5x7, and I have used both the bottom and the top border. So I've covered my card with the background cardstock, and then cut off this top border and brought it down. This corresponding topper greeting looked really good with this. And this time I broke the outer frame off and recessed this like it's a picture. So it kind of looks like a picture frame. That's our first one. Our second one, this is just the little topper with the 4 Christmas balls there. I wasn't particularly fond of the way this topper looked, so I tied a nice big bow and put over the bottom third of it, and I really like the way it looks now. And the card backing is just super simple here. I covered a small card. What is this? About a 3? What is this card? I think it's actually a cut down card. I think this is, let me try it again the right way. This is 5 by 4 1/4. So I've taken 7/8 of an inch off of this and made a smaller card using a European A6.
And then you used your Nuvo drops here too,
Oh, I sure
right?
did. Thank
in order
you.
to be able to
sure
give that
did.
raised
Yep.
tactile. I love how they feel. You can just sit and play with a card like this all
And
day.
it detracts from the great big Christmas balls a little
It
bit.
does. You don't see it as much.
Yeah. Here's our geese in the courtyard. Now in this one, I have actually moved the geese in to the picture. So I had these geese here. Oops, is this, yeah, this is the ones I used. I had these geese here and they were spread out. And it just, I looked at it, and was having some challenges figuring out how to use those. So what I did is I fussy cut these 2 geese out. And then I created a card using cardstock from here. So I get the barnyard or the courtyard. And I used the geese topper here, brought in a little sentiment, and then I brought those 2 geese over as if they're looking at that panel. And I love the way this one turned out. This was really fun. Used some little gold star accents here. And that's just all it took. I really like the way this card turned out.
That was some good imagination. And then you've got your little geese inside.
I do. Okay, here's the doorway. And I've run the doorway. And here it is. I used a piece of this. And then I just put my doorway topper on here and my little greeting across the top of the door, and I thought that turned out cute. And then
That is cute.
I had this one, and I thought, what am I going to do with this little wreath all by itself? So what I opted to do with it was to cover a European A6 with that piece of cardstock, and then well, actually, I cut out a piece of cardstock to cover my European A6, and then I wrapped this is a red and blue ribbon. I wrapped that around my cardstock before I fastened it down so that I don't have any ends showing and everything is secured. I put a line behind that, and I made kind of a double bow there on that card. And I used my Nuvo drops here to give it that fun texture and additional finish with the season's greetings. I really, really like this card. I think this turned out to be really elegant and really pretty on that bright mustard background.
Absolutely, and it really cuts it, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. The red really helped to cut the mustard color.
And this is one of my favorite bows that you have made. It is
Thank
so
you.
pretty.
Thank you. Okay, so I got 5 cards out of the geese and courtyard set. Okay, that's the first half of the Festive Memories collection for 2020. Margie and I got 23 cards out of the first half, and I'm anxious to see what we managed to do out of the second half. We'll be right back with that one.